information call with our fantastic COO, Ms. Dawn Wright Oliver, and Mr. Peter Mingles, who is our trainer, and we always get lots of super information from him. So if he's going to be talking, which I hope he will, then get a pen and paper out. That gives you time. And Dawn, I'm sure, is going to have a lot of housekeeping and information to tell us. And then we have Alex, who will be the answer man. So welcome, everyone, and Dawn, take it over.
Well, thank you so much, and I am going to only be here about 25 minutes today, so I am letting everybody know right now that Peter's going to do his something after we do the Q&A, and of course, you know, I can't ever get Outlook to work for me or any of the stuff that I seem to be doing, but, okay, I want everybody to know that we're going to be going through questions, that's Questions, at Zeeklers, Zeeklers.com, and we're going to be going through your questions. Now, if you're one of those people who scratches your head and says, I just never get my questions asked from Questions at Zeeklers.com, that's because there's this guy, Alex, who is moderating your questions, and if your questions are not appropriate to read to everyone on the call, then we won't read them. Okay, and this is all about that professional communications, how we actually handle ourselves, how we communicate, how we approach others, third parties, and each other with what we're seeking. You know, there are always different ways that we can ask a question so that it can be answered, okay, on a public call. And, you know, if I blah-de-blah, it doesn't have to contain your username. It doesn't have to contain a specific amount of money. It doesn't have to contain specific illegal projections that you have thought up in your sleep. It could just be a regular question. So if you actually want to get your questions answered, okay, and not have, you know, something sent to compliance instead of your question getting answered on the live call, then it's a very important thing to learn how to structure your questions in ways that can be asked in a public forum, and that you're asking a question that is appropriate in the manner in which you're asking it, and you will always get your answer. Okay, so I'm just letting you know, think through how you ask your question and go, okay, is this something that is within compliance? Is my languaging effective and proper and within compliance with the company? And am I including a personal account information, or is this an affiliate services ticket, or is this actually just a training question? Because that's what we are doing here is training, okay? So don't get frustrated. Rework your method in which you're communicating your question. And you know, I think David Bowie did in the movie Labyrinth. You know, it was all in. You have to know how to ask the right question, and all of the doors will open to you. Okay, and it's very true in all situations, everywhere in life. How we present ourselves, what questions we ask, who we ask, and how we ask them is usually really very strongly related to the outcome and the answer that you receive. So, that being said, that little bit of something from my opinion here, let's go ahead and get started, but I do want to make a couple of announcements. One is, and this one's going to go clunk, I can hear it now, we're no longer taking check by faxes. Okay, it's absolutely positively impossible. We are not taking any more check by faxes. I will be creating a post regarding exactly how we're managing anybody who had a check by fax that they sent in. Please do not go to your bank and say that you want to cancel the check. We will get the checks back to you. We will communicate with you. Somehow Paul is figuring that out, okay? What people don't realize is no different than a chargeback. The damage that occurs when somebody says, well, my biz didn't post, and I want to go ahead and send in a cashier's check anyway, so I'm just going to tell my bank to forget it. Telling your bank to forget it gets one bank upset, then it gets another bank upset. It creates work, confusion, and chaos, and it actually harms the reputation of the company. So we have made the decision that we're going to be working, we have Larry Cohen and a few others who are going out there working diligently on getting us the e-check systems through companies that actually go ahead and They do the security checks. They make sure that the money's in your account and that we can automatically post your bid purchase when your check clears because their system manages it, okay? But we turned off the fax machine today because it is absolutely unmanageable, and all of those fax checks coming in that all have to go ahead and be deposited into our new bank, and we know that there's a bunch of people who have said, you know what, forget it, I'm just going to go ahead and forget. Please don't cash my check. I don't want you to cash my check. I want you to go ahead and I'm just going to send in a cashier's check, and I'm going to go tell my bank, okay? And that would be so damaging, it would be crazy damaging. So instead of having any of that happen, we are taking a preemptive approach. We turned off the fax machine. We're not doing check by faxes, and we're going to create an entire process, and we're going to put together an electronic test system, and we have everybody working on that right now. And in the meantime, you know, because we're all the new accounts are being set up, and we've got all of this banking stuff being nailed down, and everything's awesome. It's great. We've got all of our banking partners, and we have more coming in, and everything is solid and solvent and awesome, and all of our credit card processing is turning on all over the globe, and things are great right now. They're actually better than they've ever been. But there are certain things, as I've been telling you for the past couple of weeks, we must go paperless. This is not an effective method for the level of growth that you guys have created. So we are going to be going ahead and putting together a post on it. We'll be making the formal announcements on it. I know that everybody's going to call Daryl, who I didn't even get an opportunity to call yet, and let him know about this. But I want you all to be aware of that. So no stop payments. You don't have to tell your bank about it. You're going to get everything back from us. We're going to let you know exactly what to do with it, and all is well. Okay, all is well. But I'm letting you know that so that if you did just send in a check by fax and you're like, oh, wait a minute, I need to do a different method for my purchase, you'll need to do a different method for your purchase. So I'll make an announcement on Zeek Rewards News about that today, and everybody will go ahead and get all of that information. And we did discuss today the fact that, you know, paper checks, these are a real big issue. There's so many of them. It's very cumbersome. People lose their we don't lose your checks in the mail. We write them, we send them, but the post office has to get it from point A to point B, and when the post office has delays, people panic. It's not efficient, it's not effective. Electronic funds transfers and payments and ACH and those types of things are what is effective, especially with a group this size and the growth we've got. So I'm letting you guys know that. And I know I've said it on every call, but I know that it's everybody's question, and everybody always has the same questions. So I know I'm being a little redundant for some of you, but for those of you who haven't heard it, you know, here so far, I just want you to know that we're not doing any more check by faxes because of the manual processing times. It ends up being that reps get impatient, and then they go ahead and they cancel, and that harms Zeek and harms all of the affiliates in Zeek. So we don't want to do that anymore. So because the waiting time is too long, because there's so many people, we've just decided we're going to go ahead and find ourselves and create ourselves an electronic check option, and until such time, we're not going to be going ahead and doing the check by fax thing, okay? And in the meantime, we will go ahead and create a post with instructions as to exactly what to do with any check by faxes that were already sent in that are not yet processed. If you did not yet receive your bids in the check by fax reality, we will give you full step-by-step instructions today as to exactly what to do with that. But please do not go to your banks and stop payment on them because we are not cashing them, so that is unnecessary. Okay? Alex?
I am here.
All right. We have stuff. Questions?
We do. And the first question is, hang on one second. I lost it. Is there a way to sign up a 16-year-old for an account that can be used as a college fund?
We don't call anything a college fund or any Zeek account a fund of any kind. If you are asking if you can set your kid up in your business and with their own business and work with your kid to build a business and get customers and build a Zeek business with your kid in their name, sure. But if they're living under the same roof in the same household, they cannot be sponsored by you. And, yeah, absolutely. I mean, you could do what you want with your money, and so can your adult child. I mean, you know, everyone in my family loves Zeek. Every friend I have loves Zeek, and everybody uses the money they earn for however they want. But be very, very careful to know that when you say things like college fund, that is a financial account term that we do not ever use at Zeek because it's just a commission check, guys. It's a commission check. You could do what you want with your commission checks. Okay? Hello?
Sorry, I was muted.
Oh, okay.
Is NXPay ready to accept money for subscriptions and purchasing bids?
Yes. Has been for a while now.
Okay. Is it possible to sign up multiple accounts from one computer?
You know, I don't know if it's possible to sign up if we're talking about register multiple affiliates under the same thing. I believe it is. It is not possible to use a bunch of different credit cards, okay, but you could sign up free. Dan, since you walked in, it is possible to sign multiple affiliates or multiple free customers up from the same computer. It is just not possible to make purchases for multiple people on multiple accounts with multiple credit cards from the same computer, correct? Okay, that's correct. So you can sign up multiple customers from your computer as free bidders. You could sign up multiple affiliates from your computer as free affiliates, but you cannot make multiple purchases under multiple accounts on multiple cards from the same computer.
Okay, and I've gotten a couple questions that people that were struggling with accessing the training website with their login credentials. We're working on the plugin, so it's the login request is temporarily down. Can access the site without having to log in. So anybody that and couldn't get into the training site yesterday, they can get in now. If you go to ZeekRewardsNews.com/training, you can get into the site.
Good. I couldn't get into the site. Just saying.
The plugin's being worked on.
All right. See, it's not all you guys. It's me, too. Alex even logs me out when he breaks something.
The same question. Hang on one second. When the subscriptions start to run again, will the company be processing all past subscriptions?
Yep.
Dawn, if I can interrupt for a second.
Sure.
Going back to one of your previous questions, explain that sometimes when you're looking at a site or you go to someone's site, you're cookied in. So therefore, if you're trying to sign up or do something, you always have to make sure you're on the right site. So could you explain the concept of cookies to people that might not know what a cookie does?
Absolutely. And if you go to Zeek Rewards News and you type in cookie or Cookie Monster, you will be able to go ahead and read an entire post on this. But what Zeekler.com has is it embeds this cookie, okay? And what that is it's kind of a little piece of memory so that we don't have to so that Zeek doesn't have to remember and process every little bit of information that comes through it. So what it does is it remembers a few things. And in that process, it saves some of the resources that Zeekler.com and all of our servers and everything have to process because we have all these live timers and we have all of these things that are reporting to each other and points and commissions and timers and auctions and bid buttons, oh my. So for the purpose of preserving our resources, Dan created a cookie. What that means is if you're on your Zeekler.com website and you sign in, right? And the first time you go to Zeekler, you go ahead and you go to your sponsor's account, and then you go ahead and you join, and it logs you in to Zeekler.com. Your computer will remember that, and it will remember that you're you, and it will remember, and it will always know that it's you, and it will always go ahead and bring you back to your Zeekler.com account. Now, are there times where we invite people over to our house and we want to register them for a Zeekler account? Sure, but the computer doesn't realize that that's what you're doing, and it doesn't realize that that's not you. So it will go ahead and it will keep switching back to your Zeekler.com website. So it's going to be peter.zeekler.com. And you're going to go, but wait a minute, I want to click join at Peter. Sign me out. I want to log out. And it's like, okay, hi, Peter. And you're like, but wait a minute, I want to join, and this is Vince, my brother. And you go ahead and you click join, and you go ahead and you join as Vincent, right? And so it's Vincent.Zeekler.com that you want to be signing into. But it goes, oh, hi, Peter. And you're like, wait a minute, I'm not Peter, I'm Vincent, and I have my friend Joe here, and I want Joe to register from Vincent. Well, in order to ensure that you are actually on Vincent's website and not Peter's website, you must look at the URL bar and the welcome message. Because in the URL bar, it'll just say Zeekler.com, but in the welcome message, it'll say either welcome from Peter or welcome from Vincent. Now, if it keeps saying welcome from Peter, you may have to go back up into that address bar and write http://vincent.zeekler.com. And if it goes and says, welcome, Peter, you need to go back into that address bar and type http://vincent.zeekler.com until it says, welcome from Vincent. Once it says welcome from Vincent, Vincent can sponsor Joe. Only when it says welcome from Vincent can Vincent sponsor Joe, or Joe's going to end up sponsored by Peter, and Joe's going to be like, I don't know what happened. Now, 3 times in the process of Joe registering, if it was on Zeek Rewards, it would say, are you sure you want to be sponsored by Peter, Joe? Because Peter's about to be your sponsor, Joe. Joe, if you click this button, Peter's going to be your sponsor, Joe. And you wouldn't believe, even with those 3 things that people have to click and say yes to, how many times Joe accidentally sponsors off of Peter when he meant to get Vincent as a sponsor. And that's a big mess, okay? But we don't have cookies on Zeek Rewards, and we don't have those kinds of warnings on Zeekler. Why? Because so many customers are coming for free bid offers. They don't know Vincent. They don't know Peter. They clicked on an ad. So what if somebody's ex-husband's name was Peter or Vincent, and all of a sudden they're just like, well, I don't want Vincent as my sponsor. Well, that was Vincent's ad. We don't want somebody else to get Vincent's legitimate prospect that he's giving that customer bids to that could end up being a good customer for him, because we're telling the prospect customer who's registering, well, are you sure you want to be with Peter? Wait a minute, are you sure you want to be with Vincent? So we don't want to confuse the customer because they don't even know about the affiliate program. They're just here to get some free bids and try out our auctions. So we have the cookie. That protects you because, see, if Joe didn't know Vincent or Peter and he went over to Zeekler.com and he clicked on Vincent's link, okay, and then the next day he forgets about it, but then a couple days later and he didn't register, he goes back to Zeekler, okay, but he finds it on Google, instead of Vincent losing that person, the cookie is going to bring him back to Vincent.Zeekler.com. Vincent's going to get and keep that customer because of that cookie. And it's not going to just be, oh, well, hey, because there's so many ads out there about Zeekler, we want to protect the first point of contact. Okay? Now, mind you, if Joe says, no, wait a minute, I met Alex the other day. Yeah, I clicked on this ad, but I really want Alex to get my business. Okay? Alex would have to say, okay, now if it keeps telling you hi from Vincent, just keep putting alex.zeekler.com until it says hello from Alex, okay? Or hello from Savage Traders or whatever, business name it might be. I mean, it might not be your username. It might not be your first name that's in your hello message. It might be your business name. Whatever you put in your screen name in your Zeek Rewards back office is what's going to appear on your welcome message. So if you wanted to say hello from Joe or you wanted to say hello from Billy Bob's Boot Shop, whatever you want that welcome message to say, you need to go into your Zeek Rewards back office, scroll down to your personal account information, and choose your screen name. Your screen name is not the same as your username. Your username is whatever.zeekrewards.com or whatever.zeekler.com or whatever.shoppingdaisy.com or whatever.fscstore.com. Your screen name is welcome from Billy Bob's Boot Shop or welcome from Joe, okay? However you want to welcome your people. And just make sure that when somebody is registering on Zeekler.com that it is the proper welcome message for the person who is about to be the sponsor of the prospective customer. Did I totally over-explain that, Peter, or was that okay?
You were perfect. Okay, so to summarize, cookies are your friend.
Cookies are your friend.
Because they can help you make sure you get credit for things, but you have to understand cookies. So if somebody in your downline calls you up and says, my website's not working, and you say, what's your website? And you go there and you say, yeah, it's working. You just spelled it wrong. You might have just cookied in your downline's website on your computer, which isn't a bad thing unless you're going to sign up a free customer or an affiliate, and then you just have to keep your eyes open. So that's why we're kind of mentioning these things, because many of you you're working your business. So now you're webmasters kind of, and you have to understand how the web works. And the last thing I would think might be important to know is that there are several browsers that work a little bit different. So a browser, for those people that are not necessarily sure or need a simple explanation, is a little bit like sunglasses. It's the way you look at the Internet. So you have your Microsoft Internet Explorer browser, and you have your Firefox browser. That's like a pair of sunglasses. You're looking at the Internet. And you have Google. And each one of them saves a cookie differently. So sometimes if you're not sure, just go to if you're in Internet Explorer, just go to Firefox, and when you go type in your website, it has a different cookie. So cookies are something that we need to remember are good, but they need to be understood. So perfect answer.
Absolutely. Brilliant. Okay, Alex?
Next question. Can we use prepaid cards to create subscriptions?
I do not believe that is the functionality we can use currently. However, we will be having our own prepaid cards coming up at the end of the summer, and when that is all in place, all of that technology will be coded, and then the answer will be yes.
Okay. How do we go about setting up nonprofits such as churches with their own accounts? Are there special forms involved?
No special forms. It's identical to a regular business. Every 501c3 has their own tax ID number, and you would just go ahead and register the company as the company. It could be Church of Christ Atlanta. It could be St. Rose Church, Newtown, Connecticut. It could be Joe's Orphanage. Joe's got a lot of action going on in Zeek this afternoon. It doesn't matter because all of the 501c3s are structured as businesses. They're just not-for-profit businesses. So they all get their own tax ID number, and you just go ahead and enter them as their own company.
Okay, and what is the minimum age to join Zeek Rewards?
It's 18 or the age of majority in whatever country you're in. You definitely want to look into any state laws that actually might supersede a federal law and vice versa. So, you guys need to know your own laws in your own states and your own countries. But the age of majority in the United States is 18.
Do you recommend using a service such as AdSmarts?
No. And that's not to bash any entrepreneurial venture associated with anything, but I absolutely do not have, we don't have relationships with any companies like that, and we actually advise that we don't allow for companies to go ahead and attach to our technology. And I don't know if there's anything that went on in that arena, but I do know that I don't promote passivity in Zeek on any level. I promote and stand behind on every level that you won't get a blister on your finger if you copy and paste your ad legitimately onto a website promoting your business. And so anything that makes Zeek more passive, when we're working very diligently to create stronger performance criteria, because, we don't want to be passive. We are not passive, and we don't like the accusation in any capacity of ever being told we are passive, that anything that makes it more passive so that people don't even have to go ahead and do the one thing that we require right now of them, to go ahead and place an ad, and they want to go and hire machines to do it, is just, it totally goes against the grain, It's like, come on, it's 3 minutes worth of, if you could call it work, to go ahead and place one free classified ad, or to throw a status update on Facebook, or to go ahead and tweet. So, no. The answer is no. It's not just AdSmarts, just so everybody's clear. I'm talking about any kind of service that does that function for you when you're required by the company to do it yourself. That's your contract with the company, that you're going to go do that, right?
Can an affiliate give or sell his Zeek Rewards position to one of their kids over 18 years old? If so, where can they find the information to change information such as username and social security number?
Okay, you just go ahead and you write an email that states, I, so-and-so, am such and such dad, and it doesn't matter whether you're their dad or not, and I wish to give my Zeek account and business for username Tony's dad to Tony. And then you sign it, and you go ahead and you submit it to the company, and I would go ahead and also have Tony write, Tony, am taking over my dad's account, username such and such, and, sign it and scan it and send it over. And you could send that to Dawn at Zeeklers.com, and Anthony or Aaron will go ahead and make sure that that gets handled for you, because there's no way to attach, I don't think, a document in IssueTrack right now.
Dawn, I don't want to be the timekeeper, but you do have a schedule, so I just want to remind you have a schedule.
That's right. I have a schedule. I got to go. Everybody, what I'm about to go do is absolutely fantabulous. Peter can go ahead and at least tease you a little bit. We had an amazing meeting today. Amazing. So the things that are happening are just really super exciting, and I'm sorry that I can't stay for the rest of the meeting, but I'll check in on you guys tomorrow at 4. Thanks. Have a great day, guys. Thanks, Peter. Bye, Alex. Thank you. Bye, Chris.
Bye.
Alex, are there any other questions that maybe you can answer in the questions and answers?
Hang on one second. Just going through what's just came in. And there was a bunch of people that asked after the question about creating an account for their son who was 16 years old. I then followed up that question with what's the minimum age to join Zeek Rewards. The minimum age to join Zeek Rewards is 18 for U.S. affiliates and the legal age for any other country. So you can't create accounts for 15-year-olds, 13-year-olds, or 16-year-olds. They must be 18. They must be the minimum legal age in every country. And
naturally, to kind of add on that person whose business that is should be expected to work that business.
Right. And hang on one second. All right, and that's it. The rest is personal account questions, so we're good.
Okay, good. So I'll take 5 minutes, then we'll call the calls. This way everybody can go back to work. There's a few things that I just wanted to mention relative to just general stuff. When I would recruit people, obviously I would want it to work for them. I always had the moral compass to figure out, without prejudging, that if I didn't think it was going to work for them, I'd probably tell them I don't think this is something you should be doing. And maybe the stuff that I was doing was a lot harder, perhaps, than the stuff that you guys are required to do. So I'm a little bit more sensitive to that as far as maybe having some wisdom as far as who would be the type of person I would want to work with or not. Remember, for those people that may be unfamiliar with my background, I was in direct sales and direct sales management, so it's a little bit different of a thing. So in reference to this, though, I think what I'm going to mention next still fits. the types of people I were looking for the leadership positions in my business, not just the everyday workers, because we know that everyday workers are going to kind of come and go, would be that they would have and maintain 3 different characters or characteristics. One would be the right attitude, the next one would be coachability, and the next one would be apply we teach. So this is something we lived by. Attitude, coachable, apply we teach. And on your own, I would recommend that you kind of have a clear idea of what that looks like in your mind for the leadership you want to attract into your business. Attitude. If I were to ask you, what kind of an attitude would you want from the leadership positions of the people that you're going to have in your business? Attitude, maybe perhaps towards, you guys are great on doing this star 6 thing for people on the training calls. There is such a difference between 4 o'clock and 9:30 because you guys are plugged in. So attitude relative to star 6, you guys understand those things. You're applying this stuff. That means coachable. You're applying the stuff that we teach. You guys have even become kind of creative in saying, hey, this is Peter, and I'm hitting star 6 right now. I'm muting myself out to, again, set the tone. So I applaud you guys for doing that sort of stuff. That's great. Attitude, coachable. There's systems that are in place that we have to understand. One of the things Dawn just announced is that you outgrew facts, check by facts. One of the things that I've observed relative to my experiences working with your crowd is you are unlike anything I've ever seen before. Matter of fact, you are unlike, collectively as a group, anything anyone has ever seen before. So once you kind of really grasp that, that'll help identify when Dawn says, listen, we just can't handle it anymore. It's kind of like when I first started my business, if somebody called me up and they say, hey, I'd like to order some stuff right now, but I don't get paid until Friday. Can you hold cashing or charging my credit card until then? I could do things like that on a small scale. But your business can't possibly do that. Too many moving parts. So now you're outgrowing check by facts for all the various reasons. And they're implementing systems to be able to handle it on a massive scale. So coachable would be to identify that and then diffuse that information back to your group. Apply we teach is just a fancy word for saying go to work. So now it's a matter of attitude, coachability, and apply we teach. And I think if we just grasp that from this call, I'll also suggest, life's like a pizza, as we say. If you draw that big circle, and you're going to have slices on your pizza, because I don't know anybody that eats pizza like a cookie. Might be something new that someone might start, but most of the times you have to slice it up because it's kind of too big. So as you look at your business, life is like a pizza, and you take a look at the different slices, you can kind of identify who's going to pick up on what I just said automatically because that's the person they are, and who are the people you're probably going to have to drill it in on a regular basis, almost make it like a culture or a mantra. But your ability to do that as the people on this call is key for the smoothness of the next phase of growth you're going to be experiencing. The announcement that Dawn kind of made today, that there's some pretty big things in the work, I don't know what impact it's going to have on your business. And when I say I don't know, on a positive basis, I don't know whether it's going to quadruple, quintuple. I don't think there's a number prepared to handle what you're going to see to your business when this new product and this new thing, if you will, as specifically vague as I'll be, is going to happen in your business. I don't know. When I say this, I don't know. It's like going to be unbelievable for the amount of other people that are going to be interested in your products and your services and the opportunity you guys have. So sit down, put on your safety belts, get ready for this rocket ship because you're ready for another one. It's not going to happen tomorrow. It'll happen sometime in the future. Can't put deadlines on these things because we don't know all the variables. But as this stuff happens, here's what I would be doing if I were everyone on this call. Prepare for that rocket ship. Because when it happens, it's going to, I don't know, it's going to double, triple, quadruple, quintuple, 10 times. I have no idea, but it's going to be big. And that's not hyper over promotion. That's just understanding what's on the horizon and the players that you guys are bringing things to. And when I say I've never seen anything like this before, every time I've been part of any conversation with anyone from the outside that says, how are you guys doing? What are your numbers and what are your ratios and all that sort of stuff? Every single one of those people that I've ever heard has said, oh my gosh, I've never seen anything like this before. You guys are creating things that have never been done before in not only this industry but any other industry, it's flat out huge. And when they talk about other companies of far less proportions that did it in far greater periods of time, they speak about the challenges and the projections that they've had as well, and it's all kind of like the same story. So what I'm going to recommend for you is keep those attitudes, get the coachability going down, teach people the systems that are in place, apply the stuff that is taught, and if you just go to work, you're going to make sure that you guys make this one of the best opportunities anybody's ever seen in any lifetime. So on that note, Alex, I'm done with this call.
Thank you, Peter. And my one little hint, without revealing too much, get customers. And thank you, Peter. Thank you, Chris. And we will see you guys again here tomorrow. And we've got Red Carpet Wednesday coming up next week, and I look forward to meeting all of you that are going to be out there. And see you tomorrow. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Your conference recording has stopped.